Alessandra Vanessa here, and welcome back to another video. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm Alessandra Vanessa. My pronouns are she and her, and today I'm going to be talking about my weight journey. It's a weight journey, but in turn it also reflects my spiritual journey, which is a journey I can discuss on its own. And I also realized that my weight has a lot to do with what I eat, which has a lot to do with how I feel. So it kind of all goes in turn, but in terms of this video and what I'm going to be talking about, it's about my weight fluctuation, about how I went from being 250 pounds to being 150, gaining 80 pounds of that back to losing about 60 pounds of that. So, and chatting about where I am at today. Alright, so my journey starts in around fall of 2015. I was in college. I think that was my first year at community college. Hi, baby. That was my first year at community college, and I was approaching 250 pounds, and I was just really unhappy with that. I wasn't happy with the way that I looked. That was also the time in my life that I decided that I wanted to do something about my severe clinical depression that I was diagnosed with. I wanted to do something about the way that I felt, and I didn't want to feel how I was feeling anymore. So I got a gym membership, started to alter the way that I eat. I got a personal trainer, and yeah, I started working really hard at the gym. I was still eating meat and cheese. I wasn't eating cheese as much because I've known that I was lactose intolerant since I was about 13 years old. More like 14, 15 years old. I've known that I was lactose intolerant, so I stayed away from that, and it was more so I still ate animal products. I wasn't as focused on, whole food, plant-based, although I was being more aware of lower calorie foods versus higher calorie foods and making certain swaps and what have you on that regard. Especially when I was working with a trainer, they started giving me meal plans and meal programs, a lot of chicken, rice, vegetables, that type of meal situations. So I did that from fall of 2015 until about January 2017, and in that time I lost 100 pounds. There were times where I was more on the gym than other times. There were times where I was really focused, and I was very proud of my accomplishments and goals. I'll actually insert a couple of clips and videos. This is from the start of my journey, actually even a little bit before, and this was also a little bit before, just as a comparison. I was about 250 pounds here, and then this is my first comparison photo. I was really proud of this. Yeah, and this is when I started being really consistent with working out and seeing the transformation and the gains and the muscle in my legs built. I was really proud of myself. I was taking a lot of photos. I was very surprised my body was a lot smaller than I actually thought it could get. So yeah, mine was to be able to sprint a quarter mile in a certain time frame, and or even just a sprint a quarter mile in total. I got 2.22 of a mile before, and talk about my next section where I just I fell off the gym. But I was able to leg press, which is the one where you sit down and you have the weight stacked up. I was able to do over 800 pounds at one point.
Hey.
Yes?
Go work out.
My legs, I was very strongly built in my legs and my hips and glute. I love it. I love very much how it felt at the time. I got into spurts of getting eager to get into that level of working out again. So yeah, from fall 2015, I got my notes over here if you're wondering where I'm looking at. From fall 2015 until around January 2017, I was working out anywhere between 3 to 5 days a week. Anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half at a time. I was really on top of my, as I started to progress more and I saw more of the results, and also this is at the same time that it was coupled at being one of my #1 antidepressant mechanisms, was working out, eating healthy, using medical cannabis, and meeting with my therapist. Those were my main ways of controlling my anxiety, depression, and moving away from antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. So I met the partner that I'm currently with in around summer fall of 2016. And when I started hanging out with them and all of that, you know, we went out to eat. I was still working out constantly. I was still meal planning all the time. And then somewhere around January 2017, after we had gotten official and stuff, that's when I started going to the gym less and less. But not necessarily because of my partner. My partner was very encouraging of me working out and how I felt and what it did for me and my coping mechanisms and things like that. Extremely supportive. It was me. I literally at some points could not get through a warm-up at the gym without becoming so fatigued I thought I was going to faint, where I couldn't support my body weight. There was one time that my partner took me to the emergency room because I literally could not stand on my own. Come to find out that I was severely vitamin D deficient at the time. That was January of 2017 roughly, so that's winter time. Not surprised. Was vitamin D deficient, so in doing so I had to basically stop the gym. I had to stop my trainings, I stopped going to the gym in general, stopped working out, and basically ceased like all movement at the time. So yeah, January 2017 I was really vitamin D deficient. I just stopped going to the gym altogether, and I slowly started to, not slowly, it was actually quite accelerated, I started getting weight again. I was starting to feel depressed, so I was eating whatever. I ate a lot of dairy, I ate out a lot, I went out on dates a lot with my partner, and just not caring, choosing options that weren't maybe the healthiest, eating out a lot, not caring, not regulating, not pre-making meals, eating whatever, like just genuinely not caring, not following any sort of diet plan, not following any sort of workout, not doing anything. So of course, you know, you bounce back, and I gained a lot of the way back. I actually gained 80 pounds worth of it back by the time I reached September of 2017. So that was only what, 9 to 10 months it took me to gain 80 pounds of it back, when it took me almost 2 years to lose 100. So that was quite drastic, and I will insert photos and everything of all of that. And so when I was approaching that, I went to a family wedding, and I saw photos of myself, and I was so angered that I had allowed myself to get to such a point that I was before, and I told myself I wouldn't get to that again, and this, that, and the next, you know, all those things that you have with yourself. And so I was like, you know what, like I can't do this anymore again, you know, because I had started to find myself thinking along the same patterns a little bit that I started to feel back, you know, in high school and freshly into college, when I was in that really low state, when I was, you know, diagnosed with clinical depression and stuff. So I was like, nope, can't do this. So around October 2017, that's when things started to shift. Yeah, because the wedding was at the end of September. That's when things started to shift. I started to become more aware, so just making slight adjustments. I was still eating meat. I was starting to be fed up with dairy. I started, you know, getting this like acne. I don't like the bloat. I don't like the feeling of when I eat dairy. But at the same time, I had reached a point where I was consuming it so much that I had built up a certain level of tolerance again to it. So dealing with all of that, by January of 2018, I became a vegan, and I have a blog article about it. I'll list it down below. I ended up doing it with a community of people, and it was the 21-day no meat fast with the Healing Place, and that was phenomenal. By the end of it, I literally just was disgusted with meat. I was done with dairy, and that was pretty much that. And I just it just wasn't for me. And the only time that I have eaten animal products again is on international travels, and those for other reasons that I'll talk about later. So in January of 2018, I went vegan, and I started eating more plants, more plant-based diet, obviously. Still enjoying my vegan alternatives, but I started noticing a huge difference cutting out dairy, and I lost a lot of initial weight from the switch of the dairy. Taking that out of my diet helped tremendously, as well as taking meat out. That helped a lot with a lot of inflammation that was going on with my body, a lot of my initial weight. So I lost, I want to say a good 30 to 40 pounds just taking out dairy and switching over to vegan, plant-based foods, eating more vegetables, eating more fruits, things of that nature. And then by August of 2018, I noticed I was still getting bloated. I was still finding myself having upset stomach. So that's when I switched over to being a gluten-free vegan. So I eliminated gluten from my diet. And I eliminated it in hopes that it would take away a lot of my bloating. It did. I was still feeling bloated every once in a while, but eliminating gluten took away a lot of the excess bloat. It also eliminated a lot of processed foods. It eliminated a lot of different things like that. So I was able to lose a lot of weight. And so by the time we hit November of 2018, I was vegan, I was gluten-free, and I had been going solid for like 11 months by that point, and I was back to 160 again.
This photo is something I'm really proud of. So my partner has been on this journey with me since the very beginning, and this was pretty much a year from the time that we realized, oh, we haven't been taking care of ourselves the way we deserve to take care of ourselves. This is me in Spain in November of 2018. Same as this. I bought this shirt in hopes of manifesting to be able to fit into it.
Mind you, I had done this all through dieting, eliminating food that caused inflammation, being very mindful about what I fed my body in order to maximize my nutritional value, not focusing necessarily on exercising or focusing on weight. Weight wasn't necessarily my focus. It was recognizing the connection between how I felt within myself, such my depression and anxiety, and connection to what I was eating, and in turn how my body felt. When I don't eat correctly, it reflects in my body very quickly. I'll bloat up, inflammation shows, my stomach expands, my skin is very malleable and flexible. Obviously, if I've gained and lost like 100 pounds, fluctuate, then my body's very elastic in that regard. So yeah, by November 2018, I was at 160 pounds, last I checked, somewhere around there. Hadn't worked out, so because of that, I had no shape. Don't have really much muscle mass in regard, especially compared to before when I was all muscle, especially in my lower body. And so I miss it sometimes. I miss it a lot actually. And I go through phases where I start working out again, and I go through phases where I'm really into yoga and different things of that nature, and I just haven't been as consistent with the practices that I had been back in 2015 when I lost 100 pounds in the 2 years from solely exercising. And so it was very interesting to note the length that it took to lose the weight when it was focused on eating and focused on weight loss. And the times that I have followed a workout program while being on top of my eating, I have found a large amount of results in not too much amount of time. So my body is very adaptable. It takes on muscle really easily, but in doing so, it also takes on fat really easily, which I said was reflected on when I eat well and when I don't eat well. It's entirely on me, my diet, my at home. Where I'm at now, in the first week of August of 2019, and right now, I'm tired of feeling fluffy. And that just has to do with my own missing of muscle, feeling like a level of strength. I really loved when I was at my fittest how fit my legs were. I feel like I could lift things up, and now I feel almost useless not being able to lift things especially as well as I used to. So that's where more of my yearning for working out. Also, my mental state when I work out is phenomenal. I use it to meditate a lot. I use it to do a lot of work through. I get a lot of downloads and insight processes. I get a lot of inspiration. There's just so many things happen when I work out, and so I miss the practice. Let's see, what else? Oh, and so November of 2018, I went on an international travel, and it was the first time I had meat and dairy. I didn't have dairy, I had meat. But one of the main reasons why when I go on international travel, I have to make the decision to eat animal products again is because I am highly, severely allergic to pineapple, like so severely allergic. And many places that the vegan alternatives at the international resorts tend to have pineapple amongst them. It'll be like a fruit bar, a salad bar, things of that nature. That is all contamination, all of it. If there's pineapple amongst it, everything has been contaminated. I don't know what tongs has been used where and what, and there's just too much things going on. There's also other dietary things that I have, and so it's just a matter of where are things gonna fall. So on international travels, I have made the decision to eat some animal products if it comes down to it. I'm like, whatever, I know my steps. I take my milk thistles, I thank the animal, I do work, I detox when I get home. I have a whole thing, and that's a whole separate video I've talked about. I will leave that down below, kind of what to do when you're thrown at international travel. Yes, there are many people who do the international travel and have absolutely no problem sticking with a vegan diet. However, based on some of my allergens, it's kind of pieces fall where they may. So a couple of months ago, I want to say in about March of 2019, I had a food sensitivity test done, and that is where I got a list of other foods that I am sensitive to, which is how I found out that I'm not actually sensitive to gluten, at least in regards to the sensitivity test. I'm sensitive to brewer's yeast, which is a type of yeast that they put in a lot of breads and things. And so my mistake, or my assumption in thinking that it was a gluten product, it was actually the yeast within said gluten product. So I've since eliminated nutritional yeast for my diet overall, and have tried implementing gluten back into my diet. In doing so, I'm gonna say today, I didn't stand on a scale, but I would say today I probably stand around 170 pounds.
This is June of 2019, out for a walk with my love, and this is my 23rd birthday in July of 2019.
I'm comfortable. I like 170, 175, anywhere between 150 and 175, depending on how my muscle mass and stuff is a good weight range that I like. I know that's I feel like that's a decent range, but when you have fat versus muscle distribution, it can vary a lot in varying how I look and stuff. Let's see, so I don't work out, I walk a lot. I walk anywhere from, so I want to say about 3 days a week I walk 2 to 5 miles depending on what I'm doing that day. Which I think is decently solid. It definitely could go out more, but I do a lot of my work from the internet, which on days like today I can go out and I can do a lot of things of my online work wherever I want with a Wi-Fi signal. So yeah, currently around 170. I'm not really as strict with my diet. I'm realizing that I want to start being not stricter, but being more mindful of it, just because I am starting to notice that emotional eating aspect and what that's doing to what I'm eating, to my mental health, to my body, just all sorts of everything. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to comment them down below. Have you had a similar journey? What does it look like? Let me know. Yeah, comment down below any questions, comments, anything that you found interesting from this video. I will definitely insert some clips throughout, and yeah, we'll see where I go from here. I'm feeling a bit like a revamp, like a restart is due. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, tune in. For those that don't know, I have my own website, totalwellnessmbs.com, where I offer personal readings, personal affirmations, other energy work. I offer a blog on there, where I do lifestyle posts, reviews, collective affirmations, collective forecasts, all that sort of stuff. So if you enjoy that, that'll be all down below, and yeah, I'll see you all soon for another video.